to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Half an hour. Like 10 tops and shit, yeah.
Those have to be the absolute worst.
It's crazy, especially like when they're late, when they're like late at night like that. It's wild.
Right.
All right. Wow. Tuesday being my bad. Because I've scheduled an appointment.
It happens. I mean, because
life happens. Yeah. Right.
Well, Tuesday was my fault. Thursday was yours. So we split the difference.
We split it, yeah. Because we were gonna do this Thursday, and
yeah, but it happens. I mean,
we missed a pretty full week of stuff.
We got a lot of stuff, man, to cover, but
we're gonna start with Kepi's, and I got a chart update because we're like, a little over halfway through the season, so why not go over who's got what, right?
Sure.
But to hand out Kepi's for today,
who went first last time? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Dude, like I said, it's been a week.
One where I think we might.
Well, you already know who mine is because I texted you the other day with who mine's gonna be.
I think I'm just gonna agree with you on it.
You're gonna agree?
I don't see any reason why you shouldn't.
My Kepi is going to Trey Fix-Wolansky for his first NHL goal in his debut.
And then his first NHL assist in his second game. He's a point per game player.
Dude, 64 is looking pretty good so far.
I remember
we've been waiting for this dude for a while.
Yeah, because I remember this kid's a 7th round pick. When was it? Like 2018, I think this guy was drafted.
I think so. It was fairly recent, but it was.
And then
he was
Tyler Angle was 7th round in 2019. Those are the two like interesting 7th round prospects. But I remember his rookie season in the American Hockey League. I didn't know much about him.
Mm-hmm.
I went down to Rochester to see the Monsters play the Amherst only because it was Jonas Korpisalo's rehab assignment.
Oh, fun.
So I was like, he's going to be playing there. Like, Korpisalo was having a good season and he'd gotten hurt. I wanted to see him play. Mm-hmm. He played pretty well, but he ended up scoring the overtime winner. It was like a beautiful play. He was driving wide on the guy. And he just like put it right back to his forehand. He just shelved it. It was like gorgeous.
Dude, his first goal in the NHL was just a sick.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, Jarmo has done in back-to-back years, 2018 and then 2019. He was just like 7th round. I'm just gonna get like the best player available. I'm gonna get the guy with the most amount of speed and skill. These are two small but really fast guys.
Super sleepers. Like
and both of them, their production ever since they've been drafted have put them in. They're not like incredible prospects. Like, oh, this guy.
Well, they're 7th rounders, right?
Like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like. These are guys that, like, if you were just to put them out on the trade market, you'd get way more than a 7th round pick for them at this point. So that just shows you like the value that you're already getting out of these guys,
right?
And like 3 years down the line, these are guys that are probably going to be like, if they develop the way that I think they're continuing to develop,
decent middle six guys.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with Brendan Gaunce because he scored his first goal with Columbus. It was funny. I thought it was his first NHL goal. And then Christian reminded me, like, he was in Vancouver for a while. I was like, oh,
yeah. Nah, so I'll be honest. Also, Brendan Gaunce's goal, man.
I know. He's just flying in there.
He just flew in and just threw it on net, and it's just like I just see the light on behind. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, nice.
I'll take it any way they come, but damn, I mean, that is a goal you absolutely have to stop.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, you got to have a save.
Yeah. Part of me wanted to give it to Jake because he scored a second and it was the overtime winner.
Oh, dude, I watched that on the highlights and I was just like, wow.
Disgusting shot, but it's just like, wow, this guy.
It's like
he shot the puck.
Well, it was also just like, come on, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, they literally there was nobody around him, and Rasmus did nothing.
Well, that's been very indicative of his season.
Story of his life right now. But yeah, Trey Fix-Wolanski, man.
He's a good player, man.
We were waiting on this kid. I remember when I was still in like high school and college, when I was still with this girl from the Cleveland area, and we went to some games where he was up there, and he looked good in Cleveland for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good to see him like finally up with the big boys. And Carson Meyer, honorable mention, another hometown product, making his debut, looking fine.
Yeah, man, I wish I didn't have to do the stuff in the newspaper that night because I definitely would have gone to that game.
Right. Well, it was funny because they had, technically four guys, four local products suiting up. Right?
In terms of Ohio or Buffalo?
In terms of Ohio.
Okay, so
because you had Carson Meyer, you had Sean Corrali, you had Jack Roslovic, and you had Cole Sillinger.
Oh yeah! Wow, look at them.
Shows how far the program's come, right?
I think so. Absolutely.
Columbus is a hockey town now.
Yeah, it's a really good thing.
It's really fun to see just the growth of the sport in the state, for sure. So the the chart update before we get into the actual game recaps, which really, the Washington one was fun, for sure, and both of these wins were fun, but it was just like, wow.
I remember the conversation we had since our last podcast was after the Florida game. Yes. And I said, well, you're probably not going to beat Washington, but if you just beat Buffalo and Montreal, you get back to 500. Well, right now they're at 500. They're 22,
exactly
500 because they beat Washington on the road. That was an impressive win.
That was very impressive, especially with Boone's goal very late.
Is that their best one of the season?
I would say yes.
I think it is. I mean, because
definitely their most impressive.
That's what I mean, because it's not just beating a really good team on the road like Washington. They were down 2-0 in that game.
Yeah.
And then Laine gets a power play goal. Boqvist ties it up. Then they go down 3-2 again.
We thought it was going to overtime.
Laine scores with 4 seconds left in the second period. Another power play goal. Then Trey gives you the lead. Yeah. Tom Wilson ties it up with about 2 minutes left. So it's very back and forth. You're down 2-0, you tie it. You're down 3-2, you tie it. You go 4-3, they tie it. But you still found a way in regulation with 45 seconds left. Boone Jenner, the captain.
This guy, I'm surprised I didn't give it to him either. But I mean, first NHL goal, I kind of got.
The problem is props. We can't give out more than one Kepi. It's like it's tough.
I know. But it's like we can talk about Boone, when we get more in depth into how the team's been doing so far this year and trade deadline stuff and all of that. But the actual chart itself, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 guys on here that haven't gotten anything because they're just kind of there. Like bottom guys that just kind of fill their role. The guys that haven't gotten any Kepis yet. Andrew Peak, Dean Kukin. I'm surprised about this one. Rosie doesn't have one.
Rosie hasn't played that well this year.
Uh,
It's surprising considering like if you would have told us like this is a segment we're doing and say 45 games of the season, how many podcasts we've done, he's not going to have one. I would have been surprised too, but the way that he's played, he hasn't really warranted one.
Right.
I'd love to give him one.
I mean, the fact that he's kind of stuck in the 4C role right now doesn't help.
Yeah.
Danforth doesn't have one.
That's no surprise.
Which he's a fourth line guy.
Yeah.
And here's one that kind of surprises me. Bemmer doesn't have one.
Bemmer, I mean, I like him because
we've given him props, but we haven't just really,
He struggled to put it. The problem with it, though, is like I said, you can only give out one at a time. And sometimes you just get outshone because, Roslovic has had some good games this season.
Yes.
His good games have often been,
overshadowed.
Yeah, overshadowed by other great players. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, it helps that I have like Oliver and Patty and Jack all on my fantasy team, so I just keep track of how they're doing through that.
I wonder how bad my fantasy team is.
Oh, dude, like you're killing it this week.
Am I really?
You've got like 57 points, and the other dude is like in the negative.
How do I have 57 points? I haven't set my lineup in weeks. I forgot that I had a team. I'm not gonna lie. I'm horrible with fantasy. I can't even do fantasy football. That's once a week.
Right. Well, you said that too.
Like
I remember there was an earlier episode where you were like, speaking of, I'm gonna set my lineup. You said it like mid-show.
Yeah, because I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna change things for that is so hilarious. That's like fantasy hockey is just so comical.
Well, it's like you can set it ahead of time too. So it's like you could set it for the full week and then not have to worry about it.
True.
Okay.
That requires me to remember though.
Right. And I know how your memory is.
Hey.
Mr. Sets your alarm for 10:30 p.m.
To be fair, that's not a memory thing. That's just an awareness thing.
Just you being dumb.
Yeah, that's just being dumb.
Bjorkstrand has 2, both from me, because of course they are.
Yeah.
Which not so fun fact about Oliver. I just found this from Union and Blue this morning. So far this season, he leads the league in hit posts with 8. There is a 5-way tie for second with 7, and that is Austin Matthews, Z, Connor McDavid, Patrick Kane, and Pasta. So 2 Blue Jackets are at the top of the league in hit posts, and it's Bjorkstrand and Werenski.
That's surprising. You'd imagine that Line would probably be on that list.
Well, again, with Line
just because he's such a fine shooter in terms of trying to pick his spots all the time.
That too, but again, missing all the time he's missed, right?
Yeah, true.
Chinnikov's got 2, 1 from each of us.
Oh yeah, well, because
Max has 1 from me. Gregory Hoffman got 1 from each of us before he got released.
Kind of funny.
That's pretty funny.
I will say I'm a little surprised Max hasn't gotten more.
I know, but again, like
I've loved his game. Like, I mean,
overshadowed performances, right?
Overshadowed, and also he's missed some time too, right?
Yeah, because remember he missed a lot of time at the beginning of the year because he had like 2 big injuries and a COVID stint.
Yeah, that's been tough on him.
Boone's had 3, 2 from you, 1 from me.
God, I mean, he's deserved every one of them.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, 3 seems low.
For the 3 does kind of seem low at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Corrali's got 1 from each of us. Patrick Laine's got 2 from each of us.
Damn. I mean, well, he deserves it. I mean, just
yeah, because he's Patrick Laine.
I mean, his stats this year are great. I mean,
for the time he's missed, he's been lights out when he's here.
He's 6th on the team at scoring, and he's missed all that time.
Right.
He's almost damn near a point per game player. He's got 25 points in 26 games.
Yeah, exactly, right? Gus has 1 from each of us. Which, I mean, yeah.
He's 4th on the team with 27 points in 45 games. Think about that.
He's been looking
45 games. Patrick Laine has played in 26. He's 6th on the team in scoring.
Are you gonna give your like incredulous waffle sandwich face? Like, just there it is. Emily can screen grab that and make another meme out of it. Robbie's got 1 from you.
I love his game, man.
Eric Robinson has been
really like Robbie.
Yeah. Cole Sillinger has 1 from each of us because I mean he's Cole Sillinger.
Mm-hmm. I mean he's kind of gone through it a little bit in terms of just the rookie slumps and stuff like that. But I love. I mean, his game.
Literally, like how many times have we said, like, have we brought up the fact that he's the only player from that draft that's still playing right now in the league?
It's really only like. I look at, who was another really good rookie that I look at in comparison. Now he wasn't drafted this past draft because Sillinger is the only player from this draft in the NHL, but Dawson Mercer.
Dawson, oh my God.
Because
he had a really good game the last time he played against us.
Right. And I'm just thinking like, because I know a lot of Devils fans, so like I pay some attention to
right, yeah.
I have interest in them. He started off the season the same way Cole did, where they were just unbelievable. And a lot of people have been like, we don't really want to say it, but he's been kind of slumped. And it's like, he's a rookie, like
that happens.
Like the only rookies who don't get slumped a ton are the ones who are like,
Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews.
It's those really, truly special kind of talents. Like Cole Sillinger is going to be a career top 6 forward. Dawson Mercer is going to be a career top 6 forward.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine. These slumps are going to happen in your rookie
Well, it's
season.
like,
but those are comparable players, I think.
We talk about strengths of draft classes in certain ways. And it's like, the 2019 draft with Jack Hughes and the 2017 draft with Nico Hischier, 2020 with Alexis Lafreniere, probably not the strongest of classes overall, right?
I mean, it's going to take time to determine just how strong the 2019 and 2020
so far, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, because you look at 2019 and you're like, God, 2nd overall is Kaapo Kakko, and this guy's just not developing.
He's just bit.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is, but I mean, you think about it, they freed up space because, they didn't want to pay Buchnevich, who's a really good player.
Right.
So they were like, we're going to get we're going to get a bottom 6 forward.
They're missing Pavel now, I'll tell them that much, but even though they're doing fine.
Yeah, no, they could definitely use him. But like, I felt like part of the reason that they made that trade was, we're going to get more depth. We're going to get Sammy Blais and we're going to get draft picks. We're not going to have to pay that. But 2, I felt like the other reason they made that trade was this is going to give one of Lafreniere or Kaapo Kakko a chance to step up into a role, get more ice time, and develop their game. And it just has not happened. Now, I know you want to be patient because Lafreniere is just in his 2nd year. Kakko is just in his 3rd. Show some patience with these guys.
Right.
I'm not willing to say that you should be totally worried about Lafreniere just yet. But there does need to be a little bit of concern with Kaapo Kakko.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, 2nd overall pick, like, even then is like, well, it's like with Dylan Strome too, being a 3rd overall pick, and with guys like with other guys that we've seen in the past. I know 2012 was kind of like our 2012 was just like, but like even the expectations with guys like Galchenyuk,
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you develop these guys, but it's on these guys to perform too. And the problem is, it's like the Rangers are such a weird mix and mash of like good and bad development, because it's like you look at Adam Fox and it's like, oh, he's the best defenseman in the league. You look at Igor Shesterkin, oh, he's the best goalie in the league.
He's literally turning into Dominic Hasek this year. Like,
look at how the fact that they revived the career of Ryan Strome.
Yes.
And but at the same time, I'm just looking at like some of their younger guys. You look at, there's so many positives here.
Keandre Miller, we bring him up a lot.
Keandre Miller is, it's not a lot of talent, but he's struggling too. It's like these really young guys on the team, they're really struggling to progress their games.
And I mean, Cole, just like to bring it back to Columbus, like you said, Cole, Chinny, they're going to go through ebbs and flows. They're rookies.
Of course. I'm not too concerned. And it helps too that they're not that high up, because you don't have that added pressure. If Cole Cylinder was the 2nd overall pick, if Yegor Chinakhov was the 4th overall pick, it'd be a lot different. But Yegor was the
21st and Cole was technically 12th.
The 12th.
11, 12, whatever.
He was the 12th. So like,
fucking Chayka, come on, it always comes back to the Coyotes. We've got Coyotes news later.
Up everything.
We've got
a quick shout out. Because I think in this,
we need to finish this chart too.
Yeah. So we have a lot of topics today, so I want to make this brief, but one thing I think is important is admitting when you're wrong, or at least giving credit when
credit is due.
Skepticism. What was the trade that we criticized the absolute most this offseason?
Seth?
That's one of them. But relaying it back to the two teams that always comes back to, the Canucks and Coyotes. We knew Connor.
Oh, the cap dump trade.
Can we talk about how unbelievable Oliver Ekman-Larsson's been this year?
It's been awesome. Looking back, he's been awesome for what it's worth.
Just 2 years ago, the 1920 season, his WAR percentile was 31%. Last year, dropped all the way to 3.
Oh,
this year, are you ready for this?
Oh no,
88%.
Whoa!
His defense last year was 12%. It's all the way up to 84%.
What?
His offense was all the way down to 11% last year.
I will say, I think, okay. How much of that is Bruce?
Here's the thing.
How much of that is Boudreaux?
His numbers were improving before Bruce.
Even
he
with
was
Travis?
steadily, he was one of the few bright spots on the Canucks, even when they sucked under Travis Green. This isn't just don't get me wrong. Barbecue Bruce is a great coach, so I'm sure that he's helped him improve even more. But his numbers were increasing before they even made the coaching change.
How about that?
I think it may just be a legitimate change of scenery kind of thing.
Well, let's be frank. The contract's still going to be cumbersome with what Patrick Allvin's got to do to manage that.
It's not easy to work with, but this type of production, if he's able to, he doesn't have to replicate it next year.
No.
But if he could just have respectable numbers next year, just have his WAR percentage above 50%, they can move that contract if they need to. But honestly, Jake, if he's playing this way, why would you want to move him? This is prime OL. He has brought his prime back. He looks like the guy, one of the best defensemen in the league that we saw when he was with the Coyotes. This is exactly what he was in his prime in Arizona. He has brought that back. So I don't think you need to move him.
I guess not. I mean,
And not to mention Connor Garland's producing.
Connor's doing his thing. Yeah.
It's a good trade for the Canucks. We
Let's
actually have to give Jim Benning credit.
I guess so. Good on you, Jimmy. We'll get back to the Canucks at a later point in the podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that quick shout out.
They did make some headlines.
Yeah.
The rest of this chart. Texier's got one from you.
It takes.
Jake Voracek has 2 from me.
I'm surprised that Tex doesn't have more. Texas had a good season.
Texas looked really good, but again, belabor the point. Overshadowed.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, that's a little interesting.
Oh, here's a wrinkle that I totally forgot. Jake Bean doesn't have any.
I'm not totally surprised by that.
But it's like Jake looked really, really good really early.
Yeah, he definitely had a good start to the season. He looked really good in preseason.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised Boki doesn't have more. He's got one from you. He leads the defense corps in scoring.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Seth Jones has 3 goals on the year. While Adam's got 8.
This man's Boqvist, his finishing percentage is 88%. His goals per 60 is 99.
Hell yeah.
It's like having a forward on the ice.
Yeah. Gavi's got one from you.
Yeah, Gavi's had a little bit of a rough season, but he still has his really good moments.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. His offense has gone up this season. His offense went up from, I think, 73% last year. It's up to 86%. He's been good offensively this season, but his defense dipped from 74% down to 24%. But, a lot of that has to do with the scheme change, the coaching change. And
going from Torts to Brad is definitely different.
Is a lot more attention to detail for this team offensively than defensively, whereas in so many years in the past, it's all been about defense.
We knew that this kind of change was needed, right? After Torts left and Brad came in, we knew that one of the main things Larson needed to focus on was getting guys scoring.
Yeah. And that was something that we discussed before the season. So I'm not totally surprised by that. It doesn't alarm me a ton, but it is nice to see Gavrikhov's offensive numbers continue to improve because I think he's pretty underrated offensively.
Yes, he is. He's very, we compare him to Jake Muzzin and he's really, really good in that shutdown defenseman role that Jake has.
Yeah. And you make the comparison to Muzzin's defense.
That's what I'm saying is
that's what I'm saying. Like Muzzin's offensive numbers, 73% for offense, and his defense is dipped to 34%. So it's a perfect comparison where these guys are good offensively, traditionally good defensively, but their numbers have just dipped this year. And that's right. It's not alarming. It's just all it is.
Yeah. Zach Werenski has only one, and it's from you, which I'm surprised I never gave him one for the All-Star nod.
Do you know what it is sometimes with Z? It's just sometimes you have players who are just so damn good that you want to give it to big guys who are going to get it less often.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? It's just ooh, I could give it to Z, but it's that's just how Z is. He's just that good.
His offense has never been. Here's the thing: he's always been good offensively. 1920 went from 77%, then to last year 81%.
Well, he led the league in goals by a defenseman with 20.
I know, but here's the thing: his offense is even. Guess what his percentile for offense is this year?
This year?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 60-ish.
96.
What? Oh my god! I don't know why I underrated
percentile offensively.
Oh my god!
Seriously, he's a great defenseman. He's really good. he has his lapses defensively.
Well, yeah.
You know, he's not a liability defensively. He's just not stout defensively, but you live with it when you get this kind of offense from him. You just do.
Um, the guy that you criticize the most, which we'll talk in the, in a later episode about deadline stuff.
Yeah, Salah.
Corpy's got a Kepi, and it's from you, sir.
It is, yeah. I gave him a Kepi because he played well in a game, and I said, I've been critical of this guy, but he played well, and I'm always more than willing to admit, hey, this guy played well, because I criticize players on this team all the time, but I still root for them. I want them to succeed.
Well, yeah.
I've said this on this podcast before. I hate it when people have goaltending conversations and make it Elvis versus Jonas. It's not Elvis versus Jonas. I've always said it's whoever's in net versus the other guy in net for the other team. Do you know how much better life would be if both of these guys posted a .930 save percentage? That's what you want.
Exactly.
So when Jonas plays well, yeah, I'm going to give him his props. He deserved it that game that he got it from me.
Speaking of Elvis, he is tied with Patrick Laine with 4 Kepis, 2 from each of us.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, part of that is just the fact that we love Elvis. Part of that is like,
well, I'm pretty sure
he's been struggling recently, but when we've given it to him, he's been out of this world.
I want to say, well, he also had a really good first 2 months of the season. And I want to say that he got 2 from us, 1 each. The first one we did for the regular season after the Arizona game.
Yes, I believe yes, because of all the special circumstances surrounding his narrative and with Matisse.
And everything with Matisse, yeah, like he deserved it then.
Absolutely.
But no, like, you obviously the save percentage is down and stuff like that. His WAR percentage for goaltending this year, it's not down significantly. It's 40%, but it could be a lot worse considering the save percentage. It's just simply the expected save percentage is not that much higher than what his actual save percentage is. It just shows that this team's just not a good defensive team.
Right.
So, like,
it's just kind of like we are where we are, and it's and Elvis is going to be fantastic. We know this.
Yeah, and this is a guy, like, the only thing I'd like to see them improve with him, he's in the 75 percentile for high danger chances, and we talked about this. He has the ability to make the unbelievable save. It's the fact that he's 14% in medium danger and 10% in low danger. It's about getting some consistency in between the pipes with him being able to make the saves that he's supposed to make. Because it's great that he can make the unbelievable save and maybe keep in games when you give up a bad scoring opportunity the other way. But you need him to make the saves that he's supposed to make too.
Right, exactly. Like like what happened with the Gaunt's goal.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of saves.
Exactly. I'm not too worried about him. He's a fine goalie. I'm not sweating him, but that's something I'd like to see him. It's an area I'd like to see him improving.
Right. Just make your cookie cutter saves. Right.
Exactly.
I gave Tarasov 1 for making his debut, I think.
Yeah.
And then
in the way that he played in those games, man.
I hope he's back soon. Like this poor guy.
I hope he is too. I hope they do take their time with him though, because I think he's a really good prospect.
Well, yes. He's going to be a really good backup to Elvis when they get to that point.
Yeah.
And
Who
then
knows? Maybe he can steal his job. I think he's got
maybe. And then we each gave 1 to Kent Johnson for World Junior stuff.
Yeah. That's right.
And now, dude, him in the Olympics right now.
Yeah.
For Team Canada is whoa.
Unfortunately, won't be doing anything. USA.
Oh my God. So Washington was really fun. Boone's last minute game winner was whoa. I thought we were going to overtime. And then Boone scored, and we were like, wait a second. Right?
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
The Washington game.
Yeah.
Boone's last freaking the goal in the last 40 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought we were going to overtime, and then it was just Boone said no.
He called game. Can we talk about the post that Patrick Laine hit? It was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
God, oh, Patty.
Because not only if he puts it in, does he get the hat trick, but he'd be a point per game player.
Exactly, he'd be exactly a point per game. You're cutting. Hold on. You're a little frozen. Oh, wait. Oh, this is fun.
Oh.
Okay, I think you're back.
Yeah.
Love Zoom podcasting, right?
Gotta love Kanish. Just Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, college Wi-Fi.
The best damn Wi-Fi in the land.
College Wi-Fi. Yeah, Washington was fun and needed. Because that still proves like even though it's a retooling team, they can still compete with the teams they need to compete with.
Yeah, because they do have some of the high-end talent that you're going to need when you're legit.
Yeah.
You know? And that's good. It's good to see, you know? This team still has a far way to go, but I mean, that's a good step in the right direction.
It's a good, and like you said, it's like their most impressive win on the year so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4-3 overtime win against Buffalo. I mean, you got to beat Buffalo.
Right.
Because you're still like, we talk about, okay, we are recording this like the game against Montreal, the matinee game just started.
Yeah, it's about to start. Now, I'll be honest, I don't expect them to win that game, but the only reason I don't expect them to win that game is solely because they just made the coaching change. And oftentimes when you make a coaching change, you know, like you're ready to come.
You're going to get a firepower, trap game.
And also it's the fact that the coach is Marty St. Louis. So they're going to.
We'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll talk about that mid-show.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of shit that happened. But yeah, you got it. Like Columbus is where they are, but like you still have to beat teams like Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still miles ahead of where Buffalo is.
Right.
So I don't know, like the fact that it went to overtime, I guess just the fact that it was a comeback was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah,
but then you see how they came back and you're like, okay, this is the team that needed to show up.
And I know it's Buffalo, but having I live here, so like I do watch them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like it's hard because they're not as bad as their record says. They're not as bad as what they appear on paper. And we've talked about this a little bit. It's a lot of, just I think Don Granato is a good coach.
Right.
I think considering what they have on paper, how young they are, the fact that they're only getting like 8,000 people a night, just the overall stench around the organization.
The fans are so apathetic right now.
Which I totally get from them. It's just he's kind of bringing out the best in them, and this is what the best is. It's that bleak, but I mean, they play hard, they play together. It's a team that cares.
It's gonna be nice when Owen finally comes up, right?
Of course, I think those are the things that they just need to ultimately care about for the time being. Because, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like they're just
they're in a like
they're rebuilding. I mean,
they're rebuilding the rebuild is what's happening now, because now that
they started the rebuild in 2014, and then they had to rebuild the rebuild, and then they had to rebuild that rebuild, and currently they're rebuilding that rebuild. It's been rough, man. I get it from Buffalo.
Dude, for a franchise that's 50 years old and done nothing.
Yeah, because it's like, and it's not even just the the 50 years part and not doing anything. Like, that can happen to anybody. I mean, the Blues just won their first Stanley Cup in 2019. The Canucks still haven't won a Stanley Cup. For me, it's just like, it's 2022, man. This team hasn't made the playoffs since 2011.
They got to do something sooner rather than later. Come on.
I remember when I first started watching hockey, I had a little bit of a soft spot for Buffalo, and I remember that they lost that series in 7 to Philadelphia, and I was kind of upset because I was like, "Oh, I like Buffalo," and then just they haven't done anything since, and it's like, "Oh my God, take me back, man!"
Right.
Like it's crazy because even when you suck, like you'd anticipate. Every once in a while, a blind squirrel will find a nut. Those teams that are rebuilding and they're just good on accident.
Oh, yeah.
Like, every once in a while, those teams make the playoffs. Like, remember Calgary in 2015?
Oh,
when they were supposed to be rebuilding, and they had a rookie Sam Bennett, and Johnny Gaudreau was young and just upcoming, and I think they had Sean Monahan at that point too. And
Borkstrand from Line A already. Just go ahead and say that.
Good start. Damn,
yeah.
Minute 16 in. All right.
And that's our two guys.
I'm looking at Yahoo, so like they have like the stats up, so it's like plus minus. They put a picture of Oliver Bjorkstrand. Assist, Patrick Laine. They put a picture of him. Goals, Bjorkstrand. They put a picture of him. And then for goaltending, they just took it away. But for goaltending, for some reason, there's no shots on goal yet for Montreal. They just had a random picture of Oliver Bjorkstrand in the goaltending category.
I didn't know Oliver was that talented.
I'm like, damn, this guy does it all. But no, so my point is, like, it's crazy. Like, this team, and they had Jack Eichel for like 6 years. They didn't once accidentally make the playoffs.
They didn't. Well, because they didn't do anything to build around Jack Eichel, and they didn't do anything to help him with the injuries that he had. Like, it's just really poor ownership and management from the top. Like, the Pegulas have done nothing to help this team.
And it's like, who are the two best players that they surrounded Jack Eichel with?
God. They tried with Jeff Skinner.
That they acquired, because they drafted Sam Reinhart before. So, like, I don't really count him because he was already part of the organization. Right. But they tried with Jeff Skinner. Who was the second one?
Kyle Pozo?
Nope.
Oh, God. I couldn't tell you.
Vander Kane. It's like,
right.
They just screw up every chance they get, man. It's
that's fucking brutal.
And it's crazy. Like, they even made the right decision with the Vander Kane. They traded him to the Sharks.
Yeah.
They got rid of him. They got rid of the contract. And I mean, God, like, even when they give up on a player, it's like, oh my God.
Can't give up on this.
It's just a mess.
I know. Poor Buffalo. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
They got some pieces, like, Tuck. I love Alex Tuck.
Yeah. I mean,
I like Casey Middlestat.
I love Alex too.
Dylan Cousins. They should be excited about the development this year of Tage Thompson.
Peyton, Jack Quinn.
Yeah, Jack Quinn's exciting. Obviously they're going to have Owen Power coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But Darlene's been just
Rasmus. Like, this poor kid. Like,
I mean, even Isaac Rosen's the guy that they got in the Ristolainen trade when they used the 14th overall pick on him. So hopefully they can get something out of him. JJ Peterka's.
JJ's gonna be fun.
I think he's gonna be a good player. But it's like, oh my God, these poor people have to wait. Now the good thing for them that they should be excited about that we've talked about is they just need one of them to be good. They got three good goaltending prospects. They got UPL, they got Portillo, and then most importantly, they got Devin. Levi.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, but hopefully, Jake, for the love of God, hopefully they get it right.
Poor Sabres fans, man.
They frankly can't afford to get it wrong.
No, they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. Because attendance is already down as is. What happens if
this team is? I mean, it's not as bad as Arizona, but it's like they're hemorrhaging money.
Yeah,
it's really bad. Speaking of weird and bad, well, maybe some good, some bad. The KHL canceled the rest of their season, and they're going to go straight to the playoffs once the Olympics are done.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought that was interesting.
So, that means for guys like Marchenko and Voronkov, who are on the Russian Olympic team, they might have a chance to come over.
Now, do we think that they are going to?
Marchenko might at least come to Cleveland.
Because I was thinking that I think that's what we've heard. Voronkov's not going to come over for a while, it seems. But Marchenko could. Yeah. And he's a guy I'm more excited about anyway.
Yeah, I'm excited about both of them for sure. But it's
of course,
we don't know. And then for guys like Svozil, I know he's playing in another league, right? He's playing in the Swiss league. I think the only two.
I thought he went to the
Czech.
I thought he went to the O.
Oh, that's right. He is in the O. I'm just trying to think of who's where, and I think the only ones in the K that we're really worried about are Marchenko and Voronkov, right?
Right.
So yeah,
no, I mean he's in the W with Regina's version.
Oh, that's right, the Pats. Yes.
Pat, yeah. He's anybody else notable on the Pats?
Tell me.
There's this kid. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
The really good hockey players, for some reason, they're named Connor.
Dude, Bedard's gonna be such a monster.
Gross.
He's fucking 16 and he's already pulling off these. I know we've seen plenty of.
The goal he scored against Calgary.
I know we've seen plenty of between the legs goals just over even just this season in the NHL, but man, what he did with that.
He's disgusting.
Having Svozil and Bedard, come on. We talk about how Michigan is stacked for the college level with guys literally the top 5 in the entire 2021 draft. All of the top 5.
Yeah, dude, Michigan, they're unbelievable. But here's the fun thing for Regina. You get another year of this guy.
Yeah.
And he's going to get even better.
Oh, man. But yeah, the KHL, I think it was mainly due to COVID stuff. I think it's part of it's COVID and part of it is the political stuff that's going on, which we don't need to get into at all. Yeah. But yeah, it's just weird that they're just going ahead and saying, fuck it.
It is weird. Could you imagine if the NHL did that?
If they just said fuck it over, it did it again after needing an 82 game season this year.
Some people would be pissed. The good thing is it wouldn't affect anything in the East because that's already kind of been determined for the most part.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's just the West. Oh, Dallas would be pissed.
Oh yeah.
Dallas and Edmonton would be the two teams that would be rightfully pissed because Anaheim's in that second wild card spot with 55 points in 49 games, while Dallas
LA's
is
right in
3
front.
points back. with 4 games at hand.
Oh man.
Proud of the progress LA has made. They've proven me right this season.
Quentin looking good. Kempe looking unbelievable. Like, you know, Peterson looking okay, Quick looking fine. Guys like Kopitar being Kopitar, Dustin being Dustin. Like,
yeah, that's the big thing. And you basically just said that with that. It's the old guys, you know.
It's the core being like the older core being like who they're supposed to be still.
Exactly. Kopitar's great, 42 points in the season. They made one of the best acquisitions this offseason that people didn't talk about a ton, which I thought was crazy because Victor Arvidsson, man, he's second on the team. He's got 29 points. 29 points in 40 games. Because he missed 29 points in 40 games. Yeah, that's
good on you, Victor. Damn.
Phil Deneau's 5th on the team. He's got 12 goals.
That's right, Phil too.
Not a noted goal scorer, but you know, he's got 12 goals in the season already.
13 if you count. 13 if you count against Toronto.
Dude, his career high in goals, he did it twice in Montreal, is 13. He's gonna beat his career high in goals this year. That's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
One of the most underrated players in the league, Trevor Moore. And then Drew
Trevor Moore.
turned the clock back.
Yeah, Drew turning the clock back is nice.
It's huge. So good for LA.
The All-Star game was fun. It's nice that the Metro won. Hey-oh.
Yeah. Claude Giroux took it seriously. He's the only player who took it seriously, and I think it was his way of being like, "Hey,
turning up his trade value."
That's what everybody was joking about on Twitter. Like, Claude Giroux's actually going like all out in this game because he's just hoping some GM is like, you know what?
He's just trying to get recruited through the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Z had a few assists, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then again, like we talked about with the skills comp, him winning the Bellagio thing was really fun.
Yeah, it's crazy for someone who doesn't practice shooting pucks off of a fountain. He's pretty good at it.
But yeah, congrats to the Metro.
Yeah. Bless up, baby. Best division in hockey.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, those 3 teams in the Atlantic have something to say about that, but
man, but the Atlantic also has the Sabres and the Canadiens and the Senators. So they can suck my ass.
Meanwhile, literally like 6 teams in the Metro are like 6 teams in the Metro, all like any given year, 6 teams in the Metropolitan are just like, gimme.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then there's the Devils. The poor Devils. I feel for the Devils, man. I got a soft spot for the Devils.
I know.
I want them to do well.
Well, it's like the Isles are finally back on a heater, even it's like, you know,
yeah,
and the Flyers have been abysmal.
I'm not crying about that, but sad for Cam, but I'm not crying about
Oh my God. Like, wow. Can we talk about, okay.
Can we talk about the Flyers? I just want to throw this out there.
Listen, okay. I pulled up the standings for this. Like, because I thought we were going to talk about deadline and standings and stuff like that. We can at least talk about standings right now. Columbus is sitting pretty with their 500 record in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
The Islanders are right below them with 40 points. Columbus is a point per game pace right now, by the way.
Like Patrick Laine.
Yeah. 45 points in 45 games.
The Islanders, I imagine, are going to pass us at some point.
Islanders have 40 points through 41 games with a 488 point percentage. Mm-hmm. Jersey has 48 games played and 39 points.
Mm-hmm.
And Philly is sitting in 8th with 38 points in 46 games. So they have a better points percentage than Jersey, but Jersey has one more point.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion as to, and I don't want to say this is the entire reason the Philadelphia Flyers suck.
I feel the most bad for Cam Atkinson, obviously, and Carter Hart.
Yeah, because Carter Hart's a good goalie, and he's putting up good numbers on a bad team.
Couturier's out for the rest of the year, I think. Yeah, he's at least out really long term. So they're just
feel bad for Sanheim. Sanheim's a good defenseman.
Sanheim too, but yeah, it's just like
it's been a rough season.
Nothing's gone right.
You go out, you make the acquisition to bring in Ryan Ellis, who's played in 4 games for you. You have the unbelievably unfortunate circumstances with Kevin Hayes.
Yes,
he's had injuries, and then he had the tragedy,
losing his brother. Yes,
you've decided, you've made the conscious decision. You're going to give several minutes a night to Keith Yandel and Rasmus Ristolainen.
Provorov is carrying the burden back there.
He's struggling. He really is. It's concerning. He's better than it was last year, no doubt about it. Because last year his WAR percentage was 13%. He had a terrible last season, but it's only up to 39%. So it's improving. But here's the thing. So it's only because of his offense. His defense has declined from last year, which was down to 30. It was 39% last year. It's down to 28%. The only reason his WAR percentage is because his offense went up to 65%.
Let's transition into this because we're talking Flyers. So they named Danny Briere a special assistant to the general manager.
Yes, which I think is, I like it. You're bringing in a familiar face.
Yes.
What's interesting, how long, I'm going to look this up now. How long has Chuck Fletcher been their GM?
Couple years. Because I remember he left Minnesota.
He did.
And then went straight to Philly. I think maybe he was off for like a year, but.
So he went there. He was hired on December 3rd, 2018.
Oh, okay. He's been there longer than I thought.
Jake, I gotta imagine they're gonna fire him this offseason.
Probably.
It's been a disaster.
Yeah, it's
the Ristolainen trade hasn't worked out. And I know it's not necessarily his fault that the Ryan Ellis trade hasn't worked out the way that he anticipated because of injuries, but like the team's getting worse. They're just not getting better. And now you have to hit the reset button and you have to rebuild again. I think it's very possible they're bringing in Danny Briere, showing him the ropes, and he's going to be the next general manager of this team.
Right. I mean, it makes sense with a guy that knows the franchise.
100%. And I like him a lot. And I think Danny Briere is someone who could do a good job because we're seeing this wave. We're going into a new era for management in the National Hockey League. More former players are stepping up into these roles.
Yes.
Quicker.
It's huge.
Because they understand, these teams understand the value of the input that these former players can give. And it's easier for negotiations, I think.
Yes, because if you have a former player in there, they have the mindset of what it's like to negotiate for these things because they were there.
And it's also just look at the former players who were really good, who are GMs in the NHL right now. Joe Sakic, Steve Yzerman. Like those are the first 2 names that obviously come to mind. Those are the unbelievable GMs who are doing it. But
Hextall
has made a career in being a GM. He's had some ups and downs, but I mean, even Bill Guerin,
Guerin, yeah. Craig
coming around about him, but like so far, I think he's done a solid job with the Wild in this.
Yeah.
the point I wanted to get to, but we're seeing a wave of it. I like it.
We're
I
seeing
think
it
that's
in the
the
coaching
direction the
too,
Flyers
and we
need to
can
go.
talk about that with Montreal later. But it's like, yeah,
We will. Do you just want to get into that now since we're playing them?
I mean, we'll wait because there are a couple heavier and crazier things that I want to get to first. Quick note: Anaheim named their general manager. It's Pat Verbeek, another former player, I believe.
Yep.
Which good for them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much from him yet, if anything, but we'll see what he does with this deadline for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to do it because it's right before the deadline. So, and with the Ducks being, they're not too far out of a playoff spot in the West.
You said they're in the second wild card in the West right now.
That's right. They're in the second wild card spot, but they're probably going to drop that spot. But they can still make some moves to try and
bolster that and come back. Yeah.
Position.
I mean, the quackening. It's got to happen. You can't stop the quackening.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the palm trees, man.
God, I mean, I want to visit Anaheim.
I do too.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's like the Orlando of California.
Oh man, a little bit of a heavier thing, and we talked about the Blackhawks last episode.
Jake, it's every episode.
Every episode, something happens. Every episode, gotta have something shitty, right? They fired an American Hockey League trainer over sexual harassment because, of course, it was.
Now,
at least they fired this one.
At least they fired, yeah, I was gonna say at least they fired this one. I was like, let's look at the positives here. They actually fired this guy.
Yeah.
Let's look at the negatives.
He was hired.
He was hired, and B, of course, it's the fucking Blackhawks, man.
And of course, it's sexual assault or harassment.
Oh my God, dude! It's just it doesn't end with this organization, does it?
Literally, it's this organization as a whole. It was like with the Bill Peters thing in Rockford too, and now this. It's all under the works. It's literally all under Rocky's watch. And God, and we already talked about Rocky and how Danny needs to do more.
And like I say, Danny needs to do more. I don't know how much control he has over that. It's not a situation where I'm like, he needs to step up. It's a situation where I say Rocky needs to step down and just let Danny do it.
Yeah.
Because Danny's got a hell of a lot more credibility than Rocky does.
Well, remember we talked about with his conference, like you could see
he made a concerted effort to try and like step in and be like, yo, what the hell are you doing?
Well, he was giving, I remember listening to Steve, Adam, and Jesse talk about it, right? And he was staring daggers at his father the entire time, fiddling with his water bottle, just wanting to say something, and he couldn't.
Yeah. I just, we talk about like just in terms of roster construction, how hard it is to fix something like the Buffalo Sabres,
the Edmonton Oilers.
In terms of just organizational shit show, how do you fix something like the Chicago Blackhawks?
I don't know. I don't think
I'm telling you right now, genuinely, and I'm not talking.
Well, they're not going to sell. They're an original 6 franchise.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Jake. Who would you rather be today? Would you rather be the Buffalo Sabres or the Chicago Blackhawks?
I would rather be Buffalo.
Yeah.
Brutally honest, I would rather be Buffalo.
I would too. That's how bad it is.
Would you? Okay. Question for you: would you rather be Chicago or Arizona?
Oh my God! I'd rather be Arizona, I guess. I'd rather be Arizona.
Is that a tougher one? Yeah.
Oh yeah, God. God, it's like, hey, man, would you rather be shot in the head or would you rather be stabbed in the ass? Like, I guess I'll take. I guess I'll take a knife wound in the ass, but
It's quite an analogy. Ew.
is it an unfair analogy? I don't think
No, but wow. Oh my god. Okay, a little bit of levity, I guess, until we get
you know what, Jake? What I just said isn't anywhere close to as heinous as what the Blackhawks are.
No.
So
more heinous shit, this time on the ice. Brad Marchand up to his old tricks. Oh my god. This is Brad Marchand's 8th suspension. That is the most. He's the king of suspensions now.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pronger had 7, which held the record, and now Brad's got 8.
How many is Tom Wilson up to? Is he up to like 5?
I don't know, probably somewhere in there, 5 or 6. But seriously, like, Brad was such an improved player over the last couple of years. He's literally one of the best left wingers skill-wise in the National Hockey League.
I've said it. He's a top 10 player in the league.
Yes, he absolutely is. But then when he pulls shit like this from when he was younger, like, seriously, what? So the whole incident was what? He punches Jarry in the back of the head like he did with Scott Harrington.
Yeah.
And then he high sticks him in the face mask. He high sticks him in the mask.
Because he also had the moment earlier where Tristan Jarry was trying to just, flip up a puck to a Penguins fan. Like,
that too. And he just swatted it down, just like being a punk.
Now, here's the thing that I'll say.
That was funny. I will give him that one because it was kind of funny, but it was still just like
I can forgive it because I laughed.
Because that was more of a rat thing than an actual stupid thing.
Right? Because it doesn't have an impact. He didn't take a penalty on it. I don't think
it was a warm-up thing. It was whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I had no issue with that because I saw that and I was like, what a dick, but I also laughed so hard at it. But yeah, no, so like it was weird because it continued into the game. I was like, what kind of beef do him and Tristan Jarry have? I've never heard anybody be like, man, fuck Tristan Jarry.
Exactly, right?
Who doesn't like Tristan Jarry?
The Islanders don't. Actually, they like him a lot.
Actually, I'm sure they love him.
Yeah. But okay. Apparently there was like rumors that, well, I don't know how much of it is rumors and how much of it is like based in whatever, but like Jarry might have said something to Brad which set him off, which
what do you have to say to Brad Marchand to set him off? Do you just have to say hi?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like
this guy is captain, can dish it out but can't take it. Is he not?
Yeah.
Because of what happened with bread.
Yeah.
With that and the like.
What happened with wine?
What happened with cheese?
I love making dumb jokes. But no, like, yeah, like what happened with Panarin, there's so many moments over the course of his career, like he just goes berserk on guys. It's also like I remember when he did that to Scott Harrington in the playoffs, and I was just like,
oh.
I remember like laughing because I was just like, man, like, dog, if you're gonna do that, why don't you do it to a player who's gonna have an impact on the game?
Well, it's like you could also see like Boone wanted to go after him for it.
Yeah. Like, why Scott Harrington?
And did you see the referee like barely do anything to restrain Brad?
Yeah. It's like, and don't get me wrong, Brad Marchand's hilarious. Like him on Twitter, he's been a menace on Twitter.
He's great on Twitter.
He's unbelievable on Twitter. But yeah, no, it's like he's got a short fuse, and I don't know what happened, but he showed it again, man. It reared its ugly head.
He got suspended 6 games for it. He's apparently appealing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which Gary's got his hands full still. So I doubt I don't know. I don't see them doing that. And then, like, if it goes to an arbitrator at that rate, it's like, why bother? Because he's probably already going to serve the 6 by the time it goes to an arbitrator at this rate.
Yeah.
So just serve the games, Brad.
Just, you did the crime. Do your time.
Yeah.
Let that be that.
One more thing on fucking literally 6 games. Okay, sure.
The good thing is it doesn't really impact them too much. I mean, like, sure, they're in the second wildcard spot, but they're only 6 points behind Washington in the first, and they have 4 games at hand. And the team that's right behind them in the standings is Detroit with 48 points in 48 games.
But it's like, I'm specifically talking about Marchand here. When, I get that this is his game, but like, you got to learn at some point.
Yeah, like, when do you just chill out,
Like, I feel like a good heart-to-heart between Tom Wilson and Brad Marchand would be kind of productive for both guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anyone for Tom Wilson to learn from in terms of starting to clean up your act and at least only doing stupid things sometimes, it's Brad Marchand.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. You want to go off on a fun women's hockey piece?
I would love to.
There was an article, I want to say it was The Athletic, right? If it wasn't The Athletic, it was some Canadian paper that was written about women's hockey not belonging in the Olympics by Rosie DiManno, who is apparently, according to Christian and Emily, I mean, they're my 2 best friends. Like, she is on par with like Steve Simmons and Damian Cox in terms of bad takes, Mount Rushmore.
Jake, at the end of the day, I don't care if she has written 10 New York Times bestsellers in her career. I don't care if she's the
Stephen King
Bob McKenzie. I just don't. I don't care what she's done in her career. She also wrote this.
Right. Have you gotten the chance to at least keep track of any of the women's hockey? Because I mean, with them being in Beijing and when they start, it's like I haven't had time to watch.
I haven't, because I'm exhausted every time I come home.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to really watch.
But
I haven't even watched the men.
It sounded
USA play Canada. I didn't watch it. I was exhausted.
Dude, the women's games have been a fucking amazing.
Yeah, because women's hockey is awesome.
Yeah, and it belongs in the Olympics. Like, I saw a tweet from, I want to say it was our friend Caitlin on Twitter at Bunker Blue saying, like, there needs to be more growth in women's hockey just in terms of other countries.
Mm-hmm.
But then I replied and said there just needs to be more growth in women's hockey, period.
You know it.
And the Olympics is a huge stage for that. It's one of the best stages for it.
It is. It's absolutely one of the best stages for it. And so I think she writes for the Toronto Star.
Okay, so she writes where CJ writes. Great.
Yep.
She's technically a coworker with Chris Johnston. Wonderful. Learn something from Chris, why don't you?
Yeah. God, it'd be great if one of those two could have a conversation and be like, hey, what the fuck?
Right. Chris and like, I know Julian doesn't write for the Toronto Star, but I want to see Julian McKenzie on that call too. Just like, hey.
Hey, you want to like not write this garbage?
Yeah. Shout out to Chris and Julian, like Julian, the man with like 90 jobs,
and
he kills them all. And CJ, one of the best reporters in the game. I mean,
trying to find
King CJ.
Okay, so here it is.
Yeah.
God. So this tweet, like tweeting out the article. 24 retweets, 102 likes, 2,259 quote tweets. The ratio of all ratios.
Can't wait to see these quote tweets. Did you see she replied to Adam too? Like Adam said something criticizing, and then she said, I can't tell if this was actually her account or if it was like a Photoshop or something, but it was like, quote unquote, you have no fucking idea. I think Adam's got a pretty good idea. So especially if he's organizing a podcast with the PHWPA.
Mm-hmm. I also
which, by the way, I still need to check out some Noxie and Cax. They just did an episode with Ailish Forfar, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta see that.
Oh yeah. There's also 1,133 responses to it.
Of course there are.
Tweets. It is an all-time ratio. Which is just so it's beautiful.
I get that it's an opinion piece, but this is such a bad you can have an opinion and still be wrong.
Yeah. No, it's just it's one of the worst opinions I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's pretty much the end to it.
And for a woman to write it too. Fuck.
I want to see, like, didn't Marissa and Gimme just get let go by the Kraken for like no reason?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see her like write a rebuttal.
Yeah.
To this and just blow DiManno out of the water. The
problem is like I'm tough. I'm hard, like between a rock and a hard place, because it's like I want to keep shitting on her, but at the same time, I don't want to give her any of the attention she's so desperately looking for.
Right. Yeah. So maybe we should just move on to Montreal.
Yeah. So we're up 1-0 after one period of play on the Montreal Canadiens, who made a coaching change.
Dom Ducharme out and a surprise face in. Martin St. Louis.
It's exciting for them.
Former
Martin
player.
St. Louis is going to be a very good coach.
Huge former player. And I mean, I remember when he was, shadowing with the Lightning, right?
Yeah. Huge former player, not in size, but certainly in production.
Yes. This dude's career, I swear. Have you watched the Hockey Guy's career video on him?
I have not, but I've heard everything that Tortorella has said about him at his when they retired his number down in Tampa and they honored him, and also just what he recently said on ESPN. I love what he says about Martin St. Louis. Like Torts, every time he talks about him, it's like he was a pain in the ass to coach.
And he's just that's the most glowing you can get from John.
Yeah, no, it's the best compliment you can get from him, because he just asked so many questions. But he also helped out the power play for a little bit in Columbus. And
yes, he was a former assistant coach for like half a season.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Boone's media availability this morning, and he got asked about St. Louis, and he had nothing but kudos for his time here. He
was a damn good player. He's going to be a really good coach.
He's going to be a very good coach. And I like it was okay. So they lost his debut because, I mean, it's Montreal and they are where they are. But the fact that he was very positive and uplifting, and in his, post game, just he had nothing but, a positive outlook.
Yeah. That's definitely...
That's a way to change things.
Yeah.
I will say that it sucks for Ducharme because he was like in year 1 of a 3-year contract.
No, he gets majority of that money, right?
I guess, but they were like, dude, after the finals appearance, they were 8-30-7 before they let him go.
Yeah, that's rough.
Oh,
Ugh. What a weird tenure. what a weird stay with the team.
it just makes me feel bad for Berkshire in the game over show. It's like, woof.
God, this is freaking weird. So bizarre, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
They named Marty St. Louis the interim coach. I'd imagine they're just going to remove the interim tag at the end of the year.
Yeah, depending on how they do. I mean, can't get much worse than what they are now. You know. Oh gosh. Wait. Where did I skip a thing? I think I might have Rosie Habs. Oh no, that's just a little bit later. Okay. So Tuuka Rask retires. We're gonna end on that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mention that right now, just because that's in my notes. The Canucks, the Jackets podcast that's all about the Canucks and the Coyotes. They hired Cammi Granato as an assistant general manager in Alvin's staff.
Ooh.
Huge. Speaking of women in the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cammi is a name.
Right.
I haven't followed what she does like super closely, but I mean, it's a really good hire.
Yeah.
And just to see more women doing things, like we already talked about Rachel Dory getting hired in their analytics department. Allison Lukin with the Kraken doing her thing. It's really good to see women actually getting more leverage in this league.
Mm-hmm. And we've given the Canucks credit for it. They deserve even more. Like they keep doing it. I love it from them.
Yeah,
I have a lot of respect for them for doing it.
it's huge.
They made a full commitment to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Give credit to the Aquilinis. Give credit to Jim Rutherford.
Yes, absolutely.
They're heading in the right direction in a lot of different ways, I think.
Let's hope they can move up standings wise too before too long.
Yeah, that'd be nice for them.
That would be nice for them. The Oilers fired Dave Tippet. It's about damn time.
Yeah. Now, it's not Dave Tippet's fault in terms of like
roster construction.
Yeah. But
he's a defensive-minded coach, and they had bad defense in goaltending.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. The fun thing to me here is reading more into what happened. It sounds like Jay Woodcroft is getting the Sheldon Keefe treatment. He didn't get named interim. He just got named head coach. He just got promoted from the Condors and just named the head coach.
Yeah, they like him. I've seen them make comparisons to Jeff Blashill from Detroit.
Did he come up from Grand Rapids too?
It's a good question. I don't know if Blashill did. I think he did. I want to say he did.
Because that's another, like I said, Keefe was like the default, comparison I would make with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being the head coach of the Marlies, winning the Calder Cup, and basically with Dubas starting with the Marlies and then being named up to the big club, it was only a matter of time before Keefe was going to take over. Babs was technically the interim. And I guess Tippett was technically an interim, because who knows if this was, Daryl Katz's plan all along.
So let's see, where was he? Okay, so he was the head coach of Western Michigan.
This is Blashill.
For one season. This was back from 2010 to 2011.
Okay.
After the season, he was named the USCHO Coach of the Year, Inside College Hockey Coach of the Year, College Hockey News Coach of the Year. After one season, he accepted an assistant coaching position under the Detroit Red Wings under head coach Mike Babcock. And after
Oh.
that season, June 25th, 2012, he became the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins for several years.
Okay.
Won a Calder Cup down there.
Right.
And then got an extension. And then he was named the head coach of the Red Wings in 2015.
So basically, right after Babs left for Toronto was when Blashill came up, and then Babs gets fired from Toronto, and Keep comes up. I'm starting to see a pattern here with.
Yeah. So from 2012 to 2015, he was the head coach of the Griffins before coming up to Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like this move. I mean, they won Woodcroft's debut, so that's nice.
Against the Islanders, so and the Islanders have been playing better late, so it's it's a good win.
It's a good win for sure. And where'd you say they were? Just outside, like a couple points back.
Yeah.
So I think Connor and Leon have confidence in this guy as a coach. They're excited for him. So as long as we'll see where they go, right?
So they have 51 points in 45 games. So they have 4 games at hand on Anaheim, and they're only 4 points behind them. But Dallas is also got 4 games at hand, and they're only 3 points behind them. So they have to find a way to get past Anaheim and Dallas.
Yes. Let's hope they can do it, because we want to see Connor and Leon in the playoffs, man. We got to see these two guys, right?
Yeah.
As much as we don't want to see Evander Kane with him.
Right. Oh God.
I wonder how Woodcroft's going to deal with that.
Hopefully he can straighten that out. But might be beyond repair.
Quick note, Craig Berube, 3-year extension in St. Louis. Good for him and much well-deserved. I know they're only a couple years removed from their cup, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and
he's a good coach.
He's a very good coach for this team.
Yeah. He deserves he's been their coach for a while. He's a good coach. Yeah. He'll be fine.
They'll be all right. And I mean, Villy is kind of stealing Binnington's job.
Yeah, it's kind of like Binnington's getting Binnington a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because here's the thing, like at the playoffs.
Well, because all he's good for is Iota anymore, and then skating away.
Yeah. If the playoffs began today, who would be their starter?
I'd say Villy. I'd say Ville Husso.
I think you gotta give it to Villy.
Yeah. But good on Craig for that. You want to talk about the Coyotes? Because the city, the city and the league have finally confirmed the rumors that we talked about an episode or two ago, that they're going to move into the ASU arena. They're going to build these extra facilities that are going to house the Coyotes for the next 3-ish, 4 years, while they try to work on the Tempe thing.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. The arena looks really cool.
Yeah. One thing I didn't realize, which kind of made me laugh when I first heard it, they had to pay this up front.
Really?
They had to pay this fee up front to do that.
Damn.
I'm surprised they were able to do that, considering they only recently finished paying off all their bills and taxes.
Yeah. I didn't know they had money.
Exactly, right? It's just like, what do you do but laugh? Dude,
God.
this is a 5,000 seat arena for an NHL franchise. How do you fix this?
I really have no idea how you fix it. There's no fixing this franchise. There's just hopes that they can keep them afloat long enough that they just accidentally stop sucking.
Stumble into, yeah.
You know,
well, when is Gary going to stop pretending?
What?
Literally, when is Gary going to stop pretending that this is working?
Never. He's not going to give up on them. But
this is his problem child.
It is. Here's what I'll say that I do like about it. It's really good for Arizona State.
It is. It's going to draw.
It's really good for college hockey.
Them. Yeah.
So I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I like Arizona State's program. I'm glad they continue to keep building and getting bigger and bigger. And this will help even more. So good for them at least. Josh
Doan can do his name, image, and likeness thing with the Coyotes like more officially now.
Yeah, and like think about it, like you're gonna have a lot more people going to these, Arizona State games, and they're playing in a beautiful facility, and they don't even have to spend all the university's not even gonna be spending all the money on the facility because the Coyotes are chipping in on it.
Right.
In terms of just staying there.
So what's okay? So like then is this going okay? I feel like then it's more of a parasitic relationship then in one way or another, because it's like now I feel like it's going to be more beneficial to the college team than the NHL franchise that this is supposed to help.
Yeah.
So it's like the Coyotes are just kind of leeching their way until they can get into Tempe.
There. But for Arizona State, you accept it because, they help out with, they're helping out financially in a way.
I saw it. Did you see the tweet from producer Drew?
No.
Something about like, how are they going to up their revenues? Like they can't sell beers.
Well, is it on campus?
I think so.
Oh, interesting. Because like I talk about like Harbor Center where Canisius plays that they can sell alcohol because it's not
on campus, right? Like,
so it's interesting.
Like the slate you can't because it's on campus. Up at Bowling Green.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
So it's like, how are you going to make that kind of revenue for the Coyotes? How are you going to make
that's hilarious
concession revenue at the very minimum
seasons in a place where they can't sell beer? That's actually hilarious.
Dude, when the hockey guy was talking about it and he wore the running wolf jersey because it looked like a college jersey, I think they should do something like that.
They should
have like a couple of college nights where they wear that exact kind of jersey, right?
Right. Yeah, they could do some like jersey designs where to come up with like alternates, like a nice cool Arizona State kind of feel to it. That'd be a nice way to ingratiate themselves. Like, could you imagine like if they did like a
Sun Devil night?
A Sun Devil night where instead of doing a sun, like they use like the Arizona State colors, but instead of doing a sun, they did the moon for the Coyotes.
That would be fun.
That'd be cool. Kind of like an inverse kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
There's ways that they can make this fun.
Yeah, I think.
But it's the NHL, so I'm anticipating.
I mean, there's going to be no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. I want to give a quick shout out and congratulations to the Seattle Kraken before we move on to Tuuka, because they featured the first all-black broadcast crew with Bowling Green alumnus Everett Fitzhugh and JT Brown.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome.
That's a really big step.
Talking about the teams in the Northwest, man.
Doing big things for diversity. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah. Tuuka Rask finally called it a career after a unsuccessful comeback. This poor guy.
Yeah.
He had his hip surgery over the last couple of off seasons and was dealing with that. We already knew he kind of wanted to spend more time with his family after what happened in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, man, I wish he got his cup.
Yeah.
He got his ring in 2011, but he needed his own cup.
Yeah, because he wasn't the starter for that.
Yeah.
That always sucked. But I mean, he still has the ring. He still has the memories from that, and he's still one of the greatest Bruins goalies of all time, if not the greatest.
One of the greatest Maple Leaf draft picks ever.
He is. He is the most successful Maple Leafs goalie draft pick in their history in terms of playoff success.
Turn in the knife there. Well, it's even funnier looking back because he was the cause of so many of their nightmares in
exactly
13, 18, and 19.
And it's I remember watching Steve Dingle's video after 2019 when they lost, and he was like, you don't understand how absolute maddening it is to see them lose again to Tuuka Rask.
I know. I
like Croft breaking it down in the studio.
God. Oh.
And then he's like, and then they show the Bruins management team and John Ferguson Jr.'s up there.
Raycroft's 876.
God, that's just so hilariously brutal. It's it might be the funniest trade in NHL history.
It's infamous for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Literally, us talking about this right now. I'm not going to hear the end of it from the two in my group chat.
Yes, well, I would just tell those two that they should just simply not trade Tuuka Rask.
I mean, they didn't do it.
Their team shouldn't.
Maybe sign Jack Campbell longer term.
Yeah, if they have the money to do it.
I mean, they signed Joseph Woll.
They have Peter Mrazek under contract.
They do have Peter Mrazek under contract. I love that it was a swap, technically.
It was.
Freddie and Mrazek.
Yeah, we'll take Freddie Anderson. Well, fine. We'll just take Peter Mrazek.
We'll just take Mrazek from you, sure. How funny was it when Kyle Clifford got the call up?
And every Leafs fan was holding their breath.
It was just how was that first meeting? Hi, Peter. Remember me? I'm sorry about. Yeah.
Peter Mrazek was probably no, I'm sorry what we did to you that night.
Ooh. Oh, right. Yeah, but Tuuka, over 300 wins. He's the most winning Bruins goaltender in their history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You would have thought, because the Bruins have been around for so long, that somebody would have challenged for that.
They've never really had a long list of great goaltenders, though. Because Tim Thomas wasn't in Boston for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then who are the other great Bruins goaltenders? Really, they come to mind.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody really.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I mean,
literally even classic, 20s, 30s Bruins. I can't even think of that.
Exactly. There's really none that stand out.
Because I mean, I can think of plenty of players
because they've had so many great players. Wayne Bork,
Willie O'Ree, Sawchuk. Didn't Sawchuk play there?
I'm gonna look this up. All time
Bruins goalies.
Most wins. Okay, so Let's look for wins. Wins category.
Win.
Second is Tiny Thompson.
Tiny Thompson. Oh my God.
1903. 3 is Frank Brimsek, who was born in 1915.
No.
4 is Gary Cheevers.
Cheevers, I do know that name, yes.
5th is Tim Thomas.
Oh my God.
They really haven't had many great goalies in their career. Do you know who's 16th?
Who's 16th?
With 49 is Yaroslav Halak.
Good for Yarrow.
And you know who's 19th?
Jeremy Swayman?
No. Andrew Aycroft.
Oh no! That's where we ended, baby.
And 20th is Terry Sawchuk.
Okay, so Sawchuk did play there. I was wondering.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because I was like, okay, Sawchuk was a Red Wing, he was a Maple Leaf, and I'm pretty sure he was most notably a Bruin. Like his time in Toronto was what it was, but like Bruins and Red Wings is what Terry's known for.
No, of course. But I think that's a good way to end this off.
Congratulations to Tuuka, and like honestly, like enjoy it, man. I know he wants to spend more time with his family, but like if he ever does want to get back into hockey, I can see him being like a goalie coach with Boston.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
It would be cool. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that, especially because it's the guys in the room love him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did something like goalie coach or maybe just working in front office.
Yeah. Be like a scout.
Yeah. Maybe scouting. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah, being like a European scout would be fun. Plus he gets to work under, another really great Bruin in Cam Neely.
Yeah.
Next couple of Jackets games. We got our next show on Tuesday, which they will be in Calgary on continuing this crazy Olympic break road trip.
Continuing their stretch of playing some really good teams. I'm not looking forward to Calgary.
Well, they got Calgary, and then on Thursday they got Chicago.
Thank God for Chicago. Hopefully they can actually beat them, though.
So we'll actually recap this Montreal game that's been going on. And then
But as we stand right now, we are up 1-0
in the second period. Yep.
So,
all righty. We'll see you Tuesday, everybody.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by Jay Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.